Chapter 1 of The Phantom Death and Other Stories. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit Librivox.org. Recording by James K. White, Chula Vista. The Phantom Death and Other Stories by William Clark Russell. The Phantom Death. On the 24th of April, 1840, having finished the business that had carried me into the Brazils, I arrived at Rio de Janeiro, where I found a vessel lying nearly loaded, and sailing for the port of Bristol in 4 or 5 days. In those times, passenger traffic between Great Britain and the eastern coast of South America was almost entirely carried on in small ships, averaging from 200 to 500 tons. The funnel of the ocean mail steamer, with her gilded saloons and side wheels, which, to the great admiration of all beholders, slapped 12 knots an hour out of the composite fabric, had not yet hove into sight above the horizon of commerce, and folks were very well satisfied if they were no longer than 3 months in reaching the Brazilian coast out of the river Thames. The little ship in which I took passage was a bark called the Lord of the Isles. Her burden was something under 400 tons. She was a round-bowed wagon of a vanished type, with a square, sawed-off stern, painted ports, heavy, overhanging channels, and as loftily rigged, I was going to say, as a line of battleship, owning to her immense beam, which gave her the stability of a church. I applied to the agent and hired a cabin, and found myself, to my secret satisfaction, the only passenger in the ship. Yes, I was rejoiced to be the sole passenger. My passage out had been rendered memorably miserable by the society of as ill-conditioned, bad-tempered, sulky a lot of wretches as ever turned in of a night into bunks, and cursed the captain in their gizzards in a calm for not being able to whistle a wind-up over the sea-line. The name of the skipper of the Lord of the Isles was Joyce. He was unlike the average run of the men in that trade. Instead of being beef-faced and bow-legged, humid of eye and gay with grog blossoms, he was tall, pale, spare. He spoke low and in a melancholy key. He never swore. He drank wine and water, and there was little or nothing in his language to suggest the sailor. His berth was right aft on the starboard side. Mine was right aft also, next his. 3 cabins on either hand ran forward from these 2 afterberths. 2 of them were occupied by the first and second mates. Between was a roomy state cabin, as the term then was, a plain interior furnished with an oblong table and fixed chairs, lighted by day by a large skylight, by night by a couple of brass lamps. We sailed away on a Monday morning, as well as I recollect, out of the spacious and splendid scene of the harbor of Rio, and under full breasts of canvas, swelling to the height of a main skysail big enough to serve as a mizzen topgallant sail for a 1,000-ton ship of today, and with taut bowlines and yearning jibs, and a heel of hull that washed a 2-foot-wide streak of greenish copper through the wool-white swirl of froth that broke from the bows. The Lord of the Isles headed on a straight course for the deep solitudes of the Atlantic. All went well with us for several days. Our ship's company consisted of 12 men, including a boatswain and a carpenter. The forecastle hands appeared very hearty, likely fellows, despite their pierhead raiment of Scotch cap and broken small clothes, and open flannel shirt and greasy sheath knife belted to the hip. They worked with a will. They sang out cheerily at the ropes. They went in and out of the galley at mealtime without faces of loathing, and but one complaint came aft before our wonderful mysterious troubles began. The ship's bread crawled, they said, and being found truly very bad, good white flour was served out in lieu. We had been 8 days at sea, and in that time had made fairly good way. It drew down a quiet, soft, black night, with the young moon gone soon after sunset, a trembling flash of stars over the mastheads, a murky dimness of heat,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?